Okay, game na. Greetings everyone. Our topic for this discussion is all about sampling techniques. And our overview or objectives for this discussion is what are the types of probability and non-probability sample? What do we need sampling techniques, especially in research? What is the importance of probability and non-probability sample? What is sampling technique? For our introduction, sampling technique is used for getting a result, data, or a sample from the population. So, sample technique or sampling technique is what we do if we wanted to conduct a research study, since we need to find the result for our research to be valid enough to be conducted. In creating this, we need a group of people or a society in which is we can call a population. And from it, we get the result or the sample. So in getting the result, we need the probability and the non-probability method to categorize the sampling techniques that we are going to use, which is the probability, wherein population has an equal chance to be chosen or to be picked, and it contains probability methods such as simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. While the non-probability is more likely using requirements for the chosen people to be surveyed or interviewed, or a source for sample, which is we can identify as non-scientific method. So it contains convenience sampling, snowball sampling, volunteer or voluntary sampling, and quota sampling. What do sampling approaches aim to achieve? The outcome are just what we had hoped for. To be chosen at random, the population's equal chances, answer based on opinions, objective responses from various individuals, and finally, when obtaining sample, we must always be sufficiently informed on how we're gonna use these methods. We're gonna introduce the probability sampling, which is the simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, systematic sampling, and cluster sampling. Later on, we're gonna discuss the types of non-probability sampling.
Now let's proceed to systematic sampling method. When we say systematic sampling, it is a probability sampling method wherein members selected from population with the use of regular interval, or basically just in between with a given interval. And for the interval to use, we have this formula of k is equal to big letter N over small letter n, which are k is equal to something interval, big letter N is population size, and small letter n is sample size. For furthermore understanding, let's have this example. In the research study, we need to conduct a survey in the total of 50 students from UMS 11 with an overall population of 500 students. Therefore, we have the given of population size, which is 500, and the sample. Now, let's apply the formula of systematic sampling, that is k is equal to big letter N over small letter n. Next, just substitute. So it will be k is equal to 500, the population size, over 50, the sample size, and so. So k is equal to 10, or 10 interval. Therefore, we have 10 as the interval. So every in between 10 students will be the selected samples to answer the survey, or will be the sample until we reach up to 50 students. That's all. Thank you.
Let's move on to cluster sampling. What is cluster sampling? It is a sampling method when you divided the population into groups. The whole population is subdivided into cluster or groups. Each cluster or group should be a small representation of population. Stratified and cluster have similarities but also have differences. The stratified sampling are divided based on their characteristics. Each population have their own representative and each population are equally represented. Stratified sampling are more complicated when the population is big and stratified gets more accurate information, while clusters are more convenient when the population is big because cluster sampling is interviewing only a three clusters from the population.
Assess resource availability. Evaluate the time, budget, and personnel available for your study. Some sampling methods require more resources than others. For example, stratified and cluster sampling may be more resource intensive than convenient sampling. Ano yun?
Hello everyone, I'm Rolilin Bonita and I'm going to explain the stratified sampling. So, the stratified sampling is a way of sampling where you divide a population into groups called strata. The goal is to make sure that each group in a population is presented in the sample. This way, the result of our research will be more accurate. Now, we're going to use an example from Monlimar Development Academy and show you how stratified sampling works using the grade level as strata. The question is, describe the stratified sampling process and each purpose. So, the stratified sampling is a sampling technique that uses dividing the population into strata, or groups, that have similar characteristics. The goal of stratified sampling is to make sure that each stratum or group is presented or has a part in the sample, to make sure that there is no bias or lack of presentation from specific group. Sa madaling salita o sa madaling paraan, when a population has differing groups, we want to make sure that all groups are presented in the sample we take. For example, at Monlimar Development Academy, there are students in different grade level. We have grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9. If we want to survey students, we want to make sure that there is the right number of students from each grade level to make sure that the survey results are not biased and present each grade level. In stratified sampling, we divide the population into groups or strata. Let's say we have 4 people in each grade level. We have grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9, making a total of population is 12 people. For example, 4 people in grade 7, 4 people in grade 8, 4 people in grade 9. The total is still 12. We just divided them into groups based on grade level. The number each group must be equal. To get a sample, we randomly choose a people from each of the grade level groups that we already divided equally. For example, from 4 people in grade 7, might randomly choose 1 or 2. We do the same for grade 8 and grade 9. With this is the random sample. This is the random sample. So, do you understand the stratified sampling? Understand the stratified sampling now? If so, we can move on to other example. Question number 2. How strata are formed and give practical example. The strata are formed based on the characteristic or factors that the population has. In our example at Monlimar Development Academy, the strata are the grade level of the student, which have similar characteristics in each group, such as the causes, stats, and the general age of student. At Monlimar Development Academy, there are 3 grade levels, grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9. So our strata grade level is grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9. So, when we do stratified sampling, we make sure that the sample we take from each grade level will be proportional to the total number of students at each grade level. Example of solving stratified sampling. Purpose of the example. For example, let's survey 1,000 students from Monlimar Development Academy, and we want to make sure that each grade level is presented in our sample. Step and perform stratified sampling. Find the total population in the number of students in each grade level. For example, meron kang 1,000 student sa Monlimar Development Academy. So, hati-hatiin mo yon. Sa grade 7, meron kang 400 student. And sa grade 8, meron kang 350 student. And sa grade 9, meron kang 250 student. So, the total of population or strata is 400 plus 350 plus 250 is equal 1,000 student. And calculate the proportion of each grade level in the total population or stratum. For example, sa grade 7, meron kang 400 student. 400 student divide 1,000 equal 0.4. And sa grade 8, meron kang 350
50 student divide 1,000 student equal 0.35. And sa grade 9, meron kang 250 student divide 1,000 population equal 0.25. So, the total of population of stratum is 100. And hindi pa yun natapos. Sa 100 na to, ito times natin to sa nakuha natin. For example, 0.4 times 100. Yung 100 na to, nakuha natin to sa dito lahat sa grade level nito. Di ba yung 0.4, 0.35, 0.25, ipapag-plus lang natin yun. Bali yung total doon is 100. Ito, doon ko yung nakuha yung 100. So dito naman, para maging kompleto yung answer natin, yung sagot dito sa grade 7, 0.4. Ipagpa-plus natin yung 100 student dito. 0.4 times 100 is equal 40. Ganun rin sa grade 8, pero iba rin yung sagot dito. Kunwari, yung sa grade 8, yung sagot kanina 0.35 times 100. 0.35 times 1,000, times 100 is equal 35. And sa grade 9 naman, 0.25 times 1,000, 100. 0.25 times 100 equal 0.25. Sorry. Sa grade 9 naman, yung sagot dito kanina is 0.25. So, ipapag-times natin dito yung nakuha natin kaninang 100. Example, 0.25 times 100 equals 25. So, ipapag-plus natin yung nakuha, yung mga sagot nito. So, lahat ng mga sagot na to, ipapag-plus natin to. Sa grade 7, nakakuha tayo ng 40. Sa grade 8, nakakuha tayo ng 35. Sa grade 9, nakakuha tayo ng 25. 40 plus 35 plus 25 is equal 100. Ito yung mga nakuha nating sagot sa mga sinagutan natin. Bali, ang stratum natin is 100. Kasi kanina yung strata natin is nasa 1,000 population yun, di ba? Pinaghati-hati natin yun sa tatlong grade level, sa tig-apat-apat, kasi 12 sila. So, gumawa tayo ng example. Kunwari, gumawa ako ng example ng 1,000 students sa monomer development. And pinaghati-hati ko yun sa grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9. Sa grade 7 naman, meron siyang 400. And sa grade 8 naman, meron siyang 350. And sa grade 9 naman, meron siyang 250. So, ang total nun is 1,000. So, yung pinag-calculate ko na sila, yung mga sagot na yung sa solving na yun is, yung kalahatan na sagot is 100 lang talaga. Kasi, kunwari, for example, sa grade 7, di ba, meron tayong 400. And ipag-divide ko yun sa 1,000 population student. And yung sagot doon is 0.4. Yung 100 na yun, yung kanina sa kabuuan ng sagot, ipag-divide ko yun sa, ipag-times ko yun sa 100. So, 0.4 times 100 equal 40. Ganun lang po ang stratified sampling. Thank you.
In convenience sampling, samples are selected based on ease of access rather than using systematic process. This type of non-probability sampling chooses individuals who are easiest to reach. For example, we need to survey people but there is only 3 available. So that person is what we're going to recruit as participant or respondent since they're the only available by that time.
Quota sampling and stratified sampling are useful ways to make sure different groups in a population are included in research. They both aim to improve how well the sample represents the population, however, they work in different ways. Quota sampling is a non-random method where researchers set specific target or how many people from each group to include, which can lead to bias way not represent the whole population. Accurately, on the other hand, stratified sampling is a random method that ensures each group is represented based on its size and the population, making the result reliable and generable. Another. Save mo!
Voluntary sampling is also known as voluntary response sampling. Is a non-probability sampling technique where individuals self-select to participate in a study or survey. This method relies on participants who choose to offer their insights, often in response to public invitations, such as advertisements or open calls. Given these factors, voluntary sampling is often suitable for exploratory research or when studying specific groups with a keen interest in the topic. However, researchers should interpret findings with the cautions and acknowledge the potential biases inherent in this sampling method.
Snowball sampling, presented by Lavin Kenora L. Rodrigo. Snowball sampling is a non-probability sampling technique where participants are asked to recruit other participants through their connection. This process continues with each new participant recruiting additional participants, much like a snowball rolling down a hill, gathering size and momentum as it goes. Examples of these, when you're trying to find participants with specific characteristics, but due to lack of connection, you ask your first participant to refer someone who would pass the description and then recruit them. After this, the process will again continue until you reach the population that you need.
Determine the appropriate sample size based on the research goals and the population size. Larger sample sizes generally